Welcome to the inaugural edition of Master Richards TV. It is March 20th, 2020. March 22nd, 2020. And this is about 2 weeks that my students and I have been without a facility to train in. We train at a county parks and rec. When schools close, counties close. So if you're watching this video later in the future on YouTube, just to give you a point of reference, this is during the coronavirus school and other public facilities closing. I'm not sure how long facilities are going to stay closed, but as I tell my students all the time, it's important to keep your tea hot, so we're going to keep training. I've been thinking about doing Master Richards TV for a long time, so just to give you some background, we train in traditional Korean martial art of Tang Soo Do. My background is in Tang Soo Do, Taekwondo, and Hapkido, so I kind of like a blending of all things traditional Korean. Today, I'm going to go over some things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So while we're on this coronavirus break, I'm going to try to cover a lot of basics. It'll serve as a reference for our students to flip back to at any time. And if you're locked in for coronavirus and browsing around YouTube, looking for some Tang Soo Do to do, and you find us, join in. And here we go. So, part 2, one of the instructors that I trained with said, be sure you always give credit to where something came from. So what I'm going to share today, I can't really credit to any one instructor. It's just going to be some basics. Nothing will be new. Many of you will have seen this before. But most of what we try to do is proven through practice over years and years. So here we go. I will give a shout out to Grandmaster Richard Hodder. He introduced the concept that I'm about to introduce to you. To me, I asked him, he's an 8th degree Taekwondo Grandmaster. He's a mentor of mine. And I asked him once, I said, what do you teach your beginning students? And he said, I teach them how to breathe, and then I teach them how to stand so that I can teach them how to move. And at the time, I was only a lowly 4th degree and learning my way around, just newly promoted and getting comfortable with that. So it kind of took me back for a minute, but as with most good grandmasters give you a little tiny nugget, it's for you to reflect on and grow. So here goes. I've been studying Qigong with some folks and independently for a while. So I'm going to start with how to breathe. So for those of you that are in choir at church and you've got a great choir director, this won't be new. This is going to be what I call, or other people call, diaphragmatic breathing. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through the nose and fill up the abdomen with air. Your abdomen should expand. Your lungs should be full. And on exhale, you're going to breathe out through the mouth. You're going to pull your abdomen away from your belt. So your abdomen area should get flat, unless it doesn't get flat, in which case, do the best you can. So, once again, we'll breathe in deeply, in through the nose, we'll exhale, out through the mouth. So, science. Why am I breathing in through the nose? Well, all the natural fibers in my nose, called hair, are my natural filter. So I'm filtering the outside air before I bring it into my body. I breathe out through the mouth because that's the largest exhaust pipe that I've got. So I get all the carbon monoxide air out. For those of you that practice Qigong regularly outside, you'll know it's great to practice Qigong outside facing a tree. You and the tree are creating a symbiotic relationship because you are breathing in their oxygenated air that the tree is producing, and the tree actually needs your carbonated air that you are breathing out. And the two of you are actually creating a cycle, and you're in balance. So for those of you that practice a little outdoor Qigong, there's a reason why people talk about hug a tree in the Qigong posture. Um, there's more to it than just the way your hands are formed. So I'm going to start again back to the most basic. I want you to stand with your feet double centered, your shoulders dropped, and I'm going to say just allow your hands to be open, so don't clench your fists, don't hold them open, don't hold them in any posture. We're going to get to ways to hold your hand a little later when we sit down and breathe. So we're just going to stand double centered, shoulder width apart. My heels should be underneath my armpits or underneath my hip. Basic to almost all sports. So my heels are going to be right underneath me, about shoulder width apart, not too wide. We're not in horse riding stance. We're not feet together at attention. I'm going to attempt to allow my shoulders to drop, and as I continue to breathe, I want them to continue to drop as I allow my body to relax. That's very important that we get all the tension out of our body. In the beginning, I'm going to say somewhere between 3 to 4 seconds will be the time it takes you to breathe in. And 3 to 4 seconds is the time it takes you to breathe out. For what we're doing right now, we're just going to breathe in and breathe out. We're not going to hold. There's other things you can do with holding. As an aside, I'll try to get a link later up. There is a timer that I use. There's several interval timers that you can find. I have a timer that works with gongs. Something was introduced to me in some Qigong training. It's a meditation timer. And I currently have mine set for 5-second pattern for beginners and 6-second pattern when I'm breathing regularly. So that'd be 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out. Start where you're comfortable. You don't need a timer. I like the timer because it prevents me from counting 1, 2, 3 in my head and counting out, and then trying to count how many breaths I've taken if I'm trying to do a certain number of cycles. So if you got a timer, use it. If you don't have a timer, just breathe naturally. So while we're on counting cycles, a good minute, 2 minutes of breathing is good. If you're on a 5 seconds in and a 5 seconds out, that's going to be 6 cycles to be about a minute. If you're made like me, you might just count to 10, do 10 cycles, whatever you're going to do. So while we're talking about counting, I am going to introduce the hands for just a minute. So what you can do, if you don't have one of these fancy sports watches or wearable devices, whatever, with a timer on it, you can use your hand. So when we breathe in, I'm going to place my thumb at the tip of that particular finger. As I exhale, I'm going to bring that thumb tip down to the gap between my fingers. As I breathe in, I'll go out to the next fingertip. And as I breathe out, I'll go down to the next gap. My other arm is just going to stay dead. I'll breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. So you kind of get the idea. And then you could go back across all the other fingers, and however many cycles that is, that'd be one good cycle. So that's a little bit about breathing in, filling the lungs, out. Lungs compress, air pushes out. At the beginning, we're not holding, and this is a double-centered posture. So if you want to do a little bit of work, you're going to allow the knees to bend ever so slightly. We're still not in a horse riding stance. We're going to turn the palms out. That's one posture. That's actually usually the last posture I do. I can turn the palms in towards the center where I'm breathing, and that's usually the next posture I would do after double centered. So we would drop slightly. It's almost like you're holding your belly. Your fingertips are pointed at each other but not touching. Everything's rounded, and it's right down in front of your dantian, in front of your belly. And you would breathe here for a little while. Okay? So you get the general idea. So once I did a couple of cycles of that, I would drop ever so slightly more, and this would be the grasped tree. So my goal here is for everything to be rounded. I want my wrist joint rounded, not straight. I want my elbows rounded, not straight. I want to imagine little softball-sized balls and beach ball-sized balls. So I'm hugging the beach ball-sized ball. Got a softball-sized ball under my armpit. Okay, I've maybe got a volleyball-sized ball hooked in this crook of my elbow so that it's just comfortable there. And I'm sitting on a rather large exercise ball, basically, if you want to imagine that. And that'll kind of give you that general idea of the posture of where you want to be in this grass tree. So again, I would breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Normally when I finish that cycle, I would go back to the second cycle we talked about, where the hands are in front of the abdomen. Continue to breathe. And then I would close with the hands here. Hands facing forward, knees slightly bent. Okay, so there's some other postures that I do in standing meditation, Qigong. That's the only one I'm going to cover today. So that would be just a regular natural position. So for my traditional Tang Soo Do Korean students, here we go. From this posture, on the command chariot, which is attention, my left foot would move towards my right foot, heels together. My middle finger would go down the inseam, the crease of the seam of my pants. Abdomen in, chin tucked, eyes in the boat or on the instructor. Nothing moves but my breath. So this is attention. I'm paying attention to the instructor, waiting for the next command. So this is a posture. There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. On the command Chunbi, that's the ready posture. Chunbi Jase to be exact. The way that we do it is I'm going to bring my fists up where my wrists are right on the ribs. I'm going to step out with my left foot to that shoulder width that we were at, and I'm going to briskly punch out with both fists in front of my belt knot as I exhale. And there's my Chunbi Jase. So this is a ready posture. Everything else that I said about attention applies. My eyes are on the instructor, my back straight. In this case, my knees are slightly bent. My breath is normal. Nothing moves but my eyes and ears. As I'm getting ready to do whatever the instruction was, or I'm about to receive a new instruction from whoever is teaching the class or clinic. So this is Chunbi Jase, ready posture. All right, so bear with us here on technical difficulties. I'm going to have to move this phone, and we'll demonstrate the last posture that I have for you today, which is going to be Anjose, which is seated posture. So bear with me. The video is going to move. It's going to look weird for a minute, but we'll be okay. So now, I've got my back straight, my legs crossed at the knees. I tell my students to place their wrists on the knees because it gives the hands somewhere to be. Not for any other real particular reason than that. It just gives the hands somewhere to be. And I just let the fingers drape. Again, the back straight. I breathe in just as we discussed, filling the abdomen. I exhale, closing. So, in this posture, you're going to see people do a lot of other things. Some people interlace the fingers this way. Some people actually interlock them. You see all kinds of hand formations done. People put some fingertips together and they hold tension in their body. or possibly here. Personally, I'm not a fan of holding tension in the body because I'm trying to meditate. If I'm counting, you may see me move the finger, so I may have the fingers together at the wrist. For those of you that do a lot of Tai Chi and Qigong, you'll know that when you connect the thumb tip to the fingertip, you're just completing the cyclical energy, or the flowing of Qi through your body from the out direction to the in direction, so it flows circularly, just like your breath is going to flow from in to out, creating a circle. That's, in my opinion, not totally necessary for you to just relax in your meditative breathing or to center. But if it helps you center, then, thumb to pinky tip, thumb to another fingertip, using the counting method that we discussed before, gives your mind something to focus on and kind of disciplines that monkey that jumps all around when we're trying to meditate. This is Androse with breathing. So that's going to finish it up for us for today. I've got about 17 minutes on the video here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any editing or just post this thing straight up to YouTube. We'll see. I'm realizing now as I'm shooting this video that I'm going to need a phone operator to do Chungul Jase and Hugul Jase and Kima Jase so that you can see the feet and my entire body and zoom in on different particulars of those stances. So for another day, for another class, we'll talk about front stance, back stance, horse riding stance. That'll probably be our next video. Again, stay safe, train hard, and look forward to seeing you on our next edition of Master Richards TV.